So guys, this is a complete course on building a stock market tracker in Golang. Now, this kind of value you'll never get even on a website like Udemy or Pluralsight where you'll have to purchase courses. You won't get this kind of value. We'll be building a stock market tracker from scratch. We'll be using the finance.yahoo API, the Yahoo Finance API, this one, right? And we'll be getting the data from there. All right. Now, what we're building basically is a Slack bot. So we're not just building a stock market tracker, but it's actually a Slack bot, and you'll be able to interact with it on Slack. Now, what I'll do is I'll actually take you to my PowerShell, and I'll start this program. So I'll say go run main.go. All right. And if I head over to my Slack, and if I mention testbot and say get stock data, it'll start getting me information from Apple, Twitter, Microsoft, Amazon, right? Facebook, all the different stocks that I have told it to track, right? And obviously we hit the rate limit from Slack, so that's why we had to stop our program. So we had NVIDIA as well and Tesla as well, right? And it gives us information on the 52-week high information, the current price, 52-week low, right? All of this information and the current price. Now, this is going to be a huge project. In the sense, it's a complete course, and we are building a complete project. So you're going to have to keep a lot of patience. And if you're comfortable with the basics of Golang, in the sense if you've completed the complete Golang tour, then it's going to help you a lot. Otherwise, there would be some things that you won't be able to understand. But the thing is, I'm going to go very slow on this course. I'm not going to go very fast, because the thing is, there are a lot of things that are happening in this project, as in a lot of small parts and a lot of files and a lot of details that are there. And since we will be testing the program at towards the end, we don't want to have a lot of typos and mistakes, right? That can lead to a lot of errors. We want to go slow. We want to make sure that every single function that we're writing, we want to write them deliberately, right? All the functions. So let me explain to you what we're going to do using these diagrams. And when I start writing the code in the upcoming video, so in this video, this is the first video of this entire course, right? And there are going to be many videos, maybe 15, 20, 25. I don't know how many videos it'll take for me to cover this. And each video should be around 10, 12 minutes long, maybe. And I'll show you in this video the diagram on how we're going to build this entire stock market tracking Slack bot. But this take this entire diagram as like your roadmap or your map, which will help you to navigate the entire project. Because when you are coding, right, when you're when we start writing the code, if you have access to this diagram, then it'll make a lot more sense to you, because this will act like the map, right? It'll tell you the direction where we're headed right now, and things won't look very confusing, because when you start adding lines and lines of code and create different folders and files and all of that, and a lot of functions, things start to get really confusing. So without that out of the way, let's start talking about what we're going to be building. So we'll have to do some backend configurations. We'll create an HTTP client. We'll make requests to the yahoo.finance.com API, and then we'll get some data back, and then we'll unmarshal that response, right? And we'll log the status and the errors in response. Now this is obviously an oversimplification, right? I mean, you know, and I know that it's not going to be this simple, right? So I have divided the files that I'm going to be creating into 3 points. So the first is 3 parts, sorry. The first is the entry points, second are the util files, and third are the entities. So we're going to have files for all these entities, right? So the entry points, by entry points I mean that we need a file called main.go. This is going to be the file that has all the Slack related code, right? All the code that we need to write to interact with Slack, basically the commands and the socket related information, the tokens for Slack, all of that goes in the main.go file. The main.go file now talks to the finance file. The finance file is almost like the tip of the iceberg, in the sense that it takes commands from the main file, but then it acts like a gateway. So I've written here, it's a gateway to abstraction. So acts as a gateway to talk to all these different files that are in our project, right? So this file is going to be small, this file is going to be mid-size, but all these other files are going to be slightly on the larger side. So I'm sorry if this screen keeps coming in between. I'm just checking if the video is still recording on OBS. It's giving me a lot of problems recently. Anyhow, so then we have this entire section called util files, right? So these files help us to work with the data that we're going to be receiving from this API. So the first is errors. Now we'll create almost like a production grade, very elaborate error file to handle all types of errors. Okay, and then we'll have a date time file, which basically, if you've worked with stock market data, you know that you have to give intervals like 3-month intervals, 1-month intervals, 6-month intervals, right? If you've seen a website, if you've seen stock market data on a website, you know what I'm talking about. There are charts, and then you have to set these time ranges and these intervals, right, to get data. So we have that file that helps us set these intervals. Then we have a chart file to process the chart information coming from this API. Then we have a form file. Now this is going to be a really boring file to write, and you can completely skip it. And when I put the code on GitHub, you can take it from there if you want to. But or if you are really interested in getting into the nitty-gritties of Golang, then you can write this entire program with me. And so it's going to have the entire logic for encoding and decoding and converting between string, int, and float, right? All those type conversions, and then structuring and parsing all the information that we get from. So it does a lot of heavy lifting, all the dirty work that's required when you get data from an API, and then structure the data, parse that information, and append that information into human readable formats, right? So it's going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Then you have your testing file where you write all of your tests. So I won't be going for a very huge test coverage, because again, I am trying to build a production grade structure, but I'm not building a production grade project, in the sense that I will write a few tests, let's say maybe 50 to 60% code coverage tests, and then the rest is understood that you will be writing those if you want to take this to production grade, right? So the project structure is production grade, the practices are production grade, but the project itself won't be production grade until you put in the hard work and complete the rest of the things if you want to, right? And then you have entities. So we'll create all these 8 different entities, because these are the 8 different things that are usually listed on a stock market, and we want to process all of these. So we'll have to have different files to process this information, because we'll have their own different structs and different handling of data. This will obviously help us. The form file will obviously help us to sanitize that data, basically, but this will help us to get it properly structured, right? So we'll define our structs here in these different files. So the first is exchange traded funds, or also called as ETFs. So if you've worked with, if you know about the stock market and stock market exchanges, you know what ETFs are, right? If you want, I can cover those also when I make these videos, right? Right now, this video is just 10,000 feet overview, right? And then you have Forex, which is foreign exchange, the currencies and their trading information. Then you obviously have cryptocurrency information. So even on Yahoo, you'll have some basic amount of cryptocurrency information that you can track. Then you have your equity data. Then you have your futures. Then you have your index funds, your options, stock options, and your mutual funds, right? So you have all these 8 different entities, and we'll be, like I said, creating files for all these 8 entities. And keep this. So this is the first video, like I said, and you can keep this video always open in your tab whenever you're working on. If you're coding along with me in the upcoming videos, then keep this tab open so that you can easily code along with me. And like I said, you have to be very comfortable with using structs and interfaces and functions and pointers and all of these different topics in Golang. If you're very comfortable with these, you can easily, sail through this entire project. And if you're looking for a job in Golang, this will be an amazing project to have on your CV. I mean, I can't tell you how great it'll be on your CV and how easy it'll be for you to get a job if you have these kind of projects on your CV. All right, like it's a Slack bot, which is very modern, very modern type of project, and it's also a stock market tracker, right? So which requires a lot of heavy lifting in terms of Golang skills, right? And having said that, this was the first video of the series. Like I said, if you want to be updated on when the videos come out, do subscribe to this channel, and so that you'll be notified when the videos come out. Thanks a lot for watching. Do share these videos with your friends or your other developers at your firm who are trying to learn Golang. And thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.